Hi everyone. So the title of my presentation is Becoming a Project Manager. But before I get into it, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Justina. I am a French Nigerian living in London. So I say French Nigerian because I was born in Paris and I grew up there. Only came to the UK in 2016 and never looked back since. So yeah, that's me. I'm a project manager. I've been a project manager for the past 5 years, and I work with a cybersecurity company called Palo Alto. And today I'd like to talk to you about how I went from knowing nothing about project management to becoming a project manager for one of the biggest cybersecurity company in the world. So let's get into it. So before we start, what is a project manager? So I pulled a definition for you online, very official, very standard, which I'll read to you. So a project manager is a person responsible for leading a project from its inception, so from the start to execution and to closure. So this includes planning, monitoring, and managing the people, resources, and scope of the project. So this is, a standard definition of what a project manager is. But to make it a bit more relatable, I would like to talk more about you. Chances are you've been a project manager before. So what type of project? Think of a school project that you've worked on before, or maybe you've organized an event, whatever that is, or planning a wedding. This, I think, is the most relatable one. Planning a wedding, I like to say that this is a project. It actually is a complex one. Let me get to the next slide. So there are 4 to 5 stages in the project life cycle. And I'll take the example of the wedding. So the first one is initiation stage. So in a wedding, you've just engaged or wherever, and now you know that you're going to get married next year on the 16th of August 2022, for example. So this is the initiation of the project. You define a very clear goal. Once you have initiated it and you've defined your goal, you go to the planning stage. So again, with the wedding example, planning the wedding. So how many guests are going to be there? What is our budget? Where are we going to be? Who are going to be the different stakeholders? So the caterers, the makeup artists, wherever. Who are all these people? Document everything. So this is the planning stage. And at this stage as well, you want to take care of looking at the risk associated with this project. So for example, next year, are we still going to be in the lockdown? Is COVID still going to be there? X, Y, Z. All this type of thing you want to think about it at the planning stage. Execution stage is when you're actually executing the plan. So now you're sending the invites to the guest, you're calling all the different people, makeup artists, wherever. You make things happen, you're executing it. And as you're executing it, you have to monitor and control. So you don't just let people do whatever they're doing. As a project manager, you have to make sure that what we've planned and what their tasks are matches with your plan. So just tick off and make sure that things are happening as they should as a project manager. This is what you're supposed to do. And finally, at the end, you close the project. So again, with the wedding example, the wedding went well. It was a success or not. Everything happened according to plan. If we are to plan another wedding next year or wherever for someone else, what are the lessons that we've learned from the wedding, etc. Documenting everything just to set us up for the future. This is a project. So some of the key skills as a project manager that you want to have, there's a lot, but I wanted to make it shorter for you. Communication, organization, and soft skills. So communication, you're going to be communicating all the time. So for me anyway, is the number one skill that you need to have. You have to be clear and effective with most people. People need to understand you so that you can understand people as well. Organization, very important. I think it goes without saying. Imagine with planning a wedding without being organized. It would be a catastrophe. And soft skills, so it's everything that has to do with being adaptable, so adapt to new environment. Be patient with people. How to learn how to to stay calm when there are conflicts and stuff like that, because you're going to be dealing with so many people, so many different characters, so many different backgrounds. So this is things that you don't necessarily learn in the book, but you can still learn to develop. So this is a project management in a nutshell at a high level, right? So now, personally, so again, like I said, there's different ways to get into project management. There's no one way, but I want to make this relatable, and I want you to learn about how I got into it. So why did I get into project management? Was it a passion? Was it a dream? No. To be honest, I was just very curious. I'm not like one of those people that know what they want to do since they're, from very young. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. All I knew is that I wanted to learn leadership skills, because at some point I want to work for myself and want to be an entrepreneur. So I wanted to learn how to communicate with people, how to be a leader, how to manage things and manage people. And I also didn't want something that is too mathematic intensive. So when I was introduced to project management, I was just curious and I grew to learn it. Another thing that motivated me into getting into project management, so obviously living in London is not cheap. I didn't want to survive. I actually wanted to enjoy living in London. So the money aspect of thing was really important. I wanted to insert a GIF. I didn't have the time. So yeah, as a project manager, you can make a decent living, but then there's different ways to go about it. So you can work as a permanent employee. So you have, a fixed salary every year, 20K, 30K, 40K, wherever it is. This is pretty standard. But then there's another way. You can also work as a project manager as a contractor. So contractor is different from perm. You don't work directly from the company. It's kind of like you work for yourself, and the company has a contract with your own company, and you have a daily rate instead of being paid, a yearly salary. And also, instead of working indefinitely until you don't want to be in the company anymore, as a contractor, it might be a 3-month contract, 6-month contract, 12-month contract, and they can renew if they still need you. But if they don't need you, then they can cut your contract short, right? Is it still live? Because I heard a bit noise. I hope it is. So yeah, just want to give a bit more details as a contractor, because this is what I did, and this is one of the things that motivated me to getting into project manager. As a contractor, you can make, at a junior level, as a project coordinator, you can make from 120 to 350 a day. And I'm not joking, this is a day. For me, that was mind blowing, because I didn't know people can earn that much every day. And this is what contracting allows you to do. So as a project coordinator, which is the junior level side of project management, you can work from 120 to 350. This is very average. It depends on the company, on their budget, etc. But this is already really good. Then as a project manager, which is the next stage after project coordinator, you can make between 350 to 550 every day. And I pulled some images and ads from a popular website called JobServe. It's my favorite one to look for project manager roles. And these are live, as you can see, they're from the 11th, from the 12th, they're very recent, all this week. 500 a day. And then on the senior side of things, senior project manager or program manager, you can make from 500 a day, 600, 700. Here you can see 750 a day. And it's very, very possible. And the best part of it is that you don't need experience to start contracting at a junior level, but most professionals will tell you that you do. And the reason that they tell you that is because as a contractor, they kind of expect you to have the experience and hit the ground running when you start the job. But at a junior level, I can guarantee you, because this is how I started, they will still train you and you will very much learn on the job. They don't expect you to have that much experience. So you can start a project management career as a contractor at a junior level. Very possible. And this is one of the things I wanted to highlight, because most people don't tell you that. Most project managers won't tell you that, especially the ones that are settled in their job, in their permanent jobs. So how to start a project management career? So this is how it gets interesting. Again, this is only my experience, how I went about it. There's different ways to go about it. But from my experience, get a mentor as early as you can. So this was key for me. This is the first thing that I would advise anyone to do if you're interested in getting into project management. Getting a mentor, it will help you save a lot of time, a lot of headaches, a lot of questions will be answered as early as possible. Then second step, get a certification. So if you're someone that doesn't have any experience in project management, then you want to be, you want to have some credibility to some extent. So getting a certification is one of those. I started with a Prince 2. So Prince 2 stands for Project in a Controlled Environment. It's a good one to start because it's recognized internationally. And when you look for jobs, most of the time you will see that this is the certification that they would ask you for. There's a lot of other ones. This is what I went for, and this is what worked for me. After that, once you have the certification, you've passed your exam, amend your CV. So again, if you don't have project management experience, that's okay. Just reflect project management skills. So the way I went about it is looking at the skills that are required and what they are asking, and try to I help myself as much as I could and try to bring out all those skills. Whether you touched on it, you touched on it a lot or not at all, try to have a project management focused CV. So a certification and a strong CV will at least help you get in the door. Fourth step, then start applying for a lot of junior roles. And why I say a lot is, don't apply for 1 or 2 roles and then wait for them to come back to you and then you're disappointed because they didn't, because there's hundreds of other people that are also applying for this role. So when I say a lot, apply for 50, 100 roles every day. They're not gonna fit what you want exactly. But at this stage, you don't have the experience, so you can't be too strict about where you want to go into. You just want to get something that will give you the experience. So apply to hundreds, 50 to 100. That's what I was doing, 50 to 100 roles every day. And don't just apply. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are also applying for the same roles. I was also calling. So once you've applied, select some of the roles that you feel you can defend to some extent and call them. Hi, my name is Justina. Can I speak to XYZ? Most of the time you have the name of the employer or the name of the recruiter. Oh, hi, my name is Justina. Yeah, I'm a project manager. I do this, I do that. And what that does, you help the recruiter filter out all the candidates. And if you manage to sell yourself very well or well enough, they will say, okay, hi, okay, interesting. Let me submit to your CV to the customer or to the client. So this is a good way to at least, start help your job search. Fourth step, so do as many interviews as possible. So from applying a lot, you might get a lot of calls and a lot of interviews coming up. If you don't have experience, again, the first few interviews will be shaky. You won't know what they will ask you, etc. But take each interview as a training, and that's what I was doing. So don't go for the interview praying that you will get the job. Expect a rejection. Just tell yourself that, you know what, this is a training. And what I used to do after each interview is that I will, as soon as it's done and I'm out, I will note down all the questions that they were asking me. And this is not only for project manager. I think this is for anyone that's looking for a job in general. If you struggle with interviews, after each interview, note down all the questions and then train on mastering those questions, on mastering the answers for these questions. Because the next interview that you're gonna go for, they're most likely gonna ask you the same questions to some extent. So the more you do interviews, the better you train, and at some point you will get in front of the right of one recruiter or one manager, and you will have all the answers to all your questions, and you will have the confidence to back it up. And at this point, you will land your first role. So that's how I went about it. A lot of interviews, lots of rejection, but at some point I had answered these questions so many times that I had all the answers, and I learned my first role as a project coordinator. So once you're on the job, learn as much as possible on the job. And when I say that, I mean learn from your project manager or the senior project manager that you work with. Literally be a sponge. See the way your project manager is, try to talk like them, try to behave like them, just copy what they're doing. Because at this stage, you want to grow as fast as you can. You want to become a project manager. So volunteer to do more, Don't just do what is on your job description. Do more. Volunteer to share the meetings, and acquire more certifications as well. So don't just sit on your Prince2 certification. Acquire more. So this will give you more credibility to back up your experience. Sorry, I have to wrap up quickly. What I wish I did earlier is enrolling into a project management program. So I wish I had done that, because I did that later on and it was really, really helpful. And those kind of programs help you with hands-on training, so real experience. And there's also a lot of mentors on this kind of program. So if you can do that, then please do. And I'm happy to share some links and some programs with you if you contact me on LinkedIn. I think I have to wrap up. Just to conclude, this is my conclusion. So anybody can start a project management career. You don't need to have a specific background or experience. Serve, determination, and perseverance is a must. It will take some time, but you can cut this time. You can cut a few years by a few months if you're really determined and you're really serious about doing the job. It can happen really quickly, and you can change your life in a matter of a few years, 1 or 2, to go from nothing to maybe 200 or 300 a day. Project managers are always in demand. So if you look at jobserve.com, I will share the link later on. Jobserve.com is a good one. For example, they share hundreds of ads every day. Project managers are needed every day in different countries for different industries. Great career progression opportunities. Like I said, you can grow a lot from project coordinator to project manager to senior PM to program manager to portfolio manager. There's a lot to do. So you can really progress in your career, and you can work in multiple industries. So again, it's not tied to IT or anything. It can be in construction. It can be in IT. It can be in properties. Is very wide. So there's a lot of opportunities when it comes to project management, a lot of challenges, but I just wanted to encourage you and show you that it's really possible for someone that doesn't have any experience as well. So this is me done. Sorry, I think I took a bit more time than I should, but I didn't have time to do some research and share good links with you. But if you please connect with me on LinkedIn and you're serious about starting project management, then feel free. I'll share some resources and some tips and tricks, discuss a bit more with you to let you know, to help anyone that is interested to going into it. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you very much. And is there any question? Where can I find a mentor? Yes, so that's a good question. So there's a lot of platforms now where you can find mentors. Personally, my one, it was very random the way I met him. So I can't say that I found him on a specific platform. But like I said, connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'll help you, I can help you, find someone. And I know some other project managers that would be happy to mentor. So yeah, do connect with me and I can share that with you. Is project management any similar to product management? Yeah, similar to some extent. So the thing I would say with product management, you're helping to develop a product, how can I go? That's an interesting question, because I'm actually interested in product management. It's similar, but there still are a lot of differences. Project management, you probably have like a working product and you're working on, deploying or implementing it for your customer. Whereas a product is really a company that is trying to build new features, that is trying to build, basically maybe a company that has a new idea and they want to build a whole app or a whole website. So the life cycle and the methodology will be different. So this is where the differences are, and the knowledge as well. Product management is a lot more intensive than project management, but it's really interesting as well. So this is something that I'm actually looking to reconvert into. Another question, what other certification would you recommend we should get? So Prince2 is a good one. I would recommend Agile. So Agile. Agile is a good one, is a lot in demand. So it's another methodology, another way to go about project management. There's another one called PMP. So it stands for Project Management Professional. Is also one that's in demand. There's so many out there, but I would say Prince2, Agile or Agile Scrum, and the PMP are good ones. recognized. Can you apply for project management roles if you have a degree in computing, computer science, or do you need a master's degree to be suitable for the position? No, like I said, depending on, if you have a master's in computing or computer science, then I'm guessing if you become a project manager, it will have something to do with IT. And like I said, you don't need to have a background or a master's as a project manager. I didn't have any of those. I did a bachelor degree, but it was completely unrelated to project management. So a good way to learn project management is to get a certification in project management. And what I forgot to mention about that is that you don't need to go to uni or whatever to get a certification. You can literally do it online. I did mine in 2 weeks. The first one, it took me 2 weeks if you're willing to pay for the course, or you can do it as self-study. You can buy the book, study on your own, and then pay to pass the exams. So no, you don't need a master's. You can have any background, but you need to understand what a project manager is, what it does, and at least have a certification to give you some credibility. 2 more. Are there any job sites you recommend to find roles, or any particular companies you recommend to apply to? No particular companies, but a good website is JobServe. I can't recommend that website a lot, so I don't know if I can post it there. JobServe.com. So it's JOBSERVE.com. That's a good one because the people that post ads on there, they need to pay to do so. So 90% of them are real ads. And yeah, it's a good one. That's the only one I use. And sometimes I use JobSite, which is another one. You can apply on any of those, but my number one is JobServe.com. I think there was another question. What is a project management program? So project management program, maybe that's not the right words to use it, but it's basically a company that will help you train in project management. So you'll be with a group of other people that want to learn about project management, and you have people that are already in that field, and they will make you work on live projects, so on real projects. They will teach you about project management. There will be mentors. They basically help you kickstart your project management career. So instead of doing it on your own, following the step like I did, if you enroll into this type of program, then they will help you do all those things. So you won't feel lost. You won't feel that you're on your own. There will be mentors. You will work on real projects. And the good thing with those projects is that you can, well, the one I used to be with, I would recommend it today because I don't think they're good anymore. But at the time, the experience and the project that you worked on, you could put it on your CV. So this stands as experience. And yeah, it would just help you kickstart your project management career. So I have a few to recommend. I don't know them on top of my head, but please connect with me on LinkedIn or contact me anywhere on Zuntos, I think. Yeah, on Zuntos. And I can share a few with you.